Have you ever felt like you were not good enough no matter what you did? For years, I carried this heavy burden of low self-esteem rooted in my childhood trauma. But here is what I have learned and how I began to heal. Growing up, I often felt invisible, like my voice did not count or I did not matter. The words and actions of other people towards me left deep scars that made me doubt my self-worth. I didn't understand at that time that all these experiences were planting seed of, deep, low self-esteem that will follow me towards adulthood. But here is the thing, recognizing the sources of my low self-esteem was the first step towards healing. I had to face the fact that the negative beliefs that I held about myself were not mine, and what other people say or think about me isn't who I am. Secondly, I learned that self-worth comes from within. I started learning that my self-worth is not determined by how others treated me during my childhood when I was vulnerable and helpless. This is something I had to discover and nurture within myself. Childhood trauma often makes us feel unworthy and insignificant, especially when we were traumatized by our own parents or family members who we were dependent on for protection. As an adult, I want you to heal and know that you now have the power to defend yourself, create the life you want for yourself, because your self-worth is not determined by how or whom you were raised. And as an adult, it is your responsibility to forgive, and take, full accountability and acceptance for what happened, and then let it go. 3, I started setting boundaries. Some people think that because they are your family members or you are blood related, this automatically gives them, the rights, the privilege, to keep hurting you and to keep torturing you, because, like they say, blood is thicker than water and family are inseparable. That is the biggest lie. The fact that somebody is your friend or your family member does not give them the right, to torture you, to hurt you, and to belittle you, or to traumatize you with words and their actions. I started realizing that establishing healthy boundaries was an important step to protect myself from, further emotional harm. Trauma can leave us vulnerable for further mistreatment. People who have been traumatized can relate to this, because you are most likely to, attract or accept people in your life who treat you like shit, who treat you badly, because I think it is the experiences that you have been used to. Knowing your value, establish and maintaining strong boundaries is the only solution you have to ensuring that you don't repeat those harmful patterns. 4, I started realizing that healing takes time. Healing from trauma is a gradual process, because it is something that you are used to. It is something that your system is used to. And it is very okay to take one step at a time. I don't think there's a quick fix to overcoming childhood trauma. But what you can do is, to start researching what God is saying concerning what God is saying, or what God has said concerning your own life. So your life is not determined by what other people said or what you have been through. It is determined by, what God has said concerning your life and what you want for yourself. So it is the will of God and what you want for yourself. That is what you have to start figuring out, and that is what you have to start affirming to yourself. But it takes time for you to start believing those things that you say to yourself. Understand that healing takes time. It is a journey and not a destination. Treat yourself with kindness. It will help in managing your expectations. 5, the power of forgiveness, especially towards yourself. One of the hardest lessons I had to learn was forgiving myself for believing that I was not good enough. And forgiving myself for letting, certain people into my life. Don't fall into the trap of blaming yourself because everything happens for a reason. Know that you are good enough. If someone decides to treat you bad, you are not the problem. They have issues. What you can do is pray for them and hope that they find healing. Stop trying to fix anybody. 6. I had to start understanding how and why my emotions are triggered. How do you respond to triggers, especially when it has to do with your past? Remember, the old things have passed away. Behold, everything has become new. So how do you respond to those people who come to you and try to trigger you with the things they know about you? Figure that out. 7. I understood that resilience can be built. Despite everything that I went through, the pain, the trauma, I realized that I am even stronger than what I thought. Childhood trauma is a weapon that you can use to cope with any adversity. Look at the story of Joseph. He was betrayed and thrown into prison. Where did he end up? 8. I am still learning that seeking help is strength and not a weakness. But it is very common for people who have been traumatized to feel that they can do everything on their own because they are very self-sufficient and they have not really had someone to depend on. You know, when you are not used to depending on other people and you are self-sufficient, you start seeing, asking for help as a weakness, but it is not a weakness, rather it is strength. It is also a brave step towards healing because you cannot do everything by yourself. 9. I learned that my past experiences do not define or dictate my future. As an adult, I am in control of my story. I am in control of how my story ends. And finally, 10. Self-compassion is key. I discovered the importance of being kind to myself and especially on difficult days. I was taught to be selfless and to put other people's needs above mine. That is not a good way to live. I learned how to stop criticizing myself, talking down on myself, and practicing self-compassion. And I also learned that it is okay to completely cut off or distance myself from people who continuously hurt my emotions and well-being, regardless of who they are. Letting go of toxic relationships and people, even if they are your family members, is an important step to healing from childhood trauma. I want you to remember that having a low self-esteem is not something that you were born with. It is something that was inbuilt in you when you were a child, and it is something you can heal from. Something that you can heal from no matter what it is. I am challenging you to take hold of those negative beliefs and work on it, instead of accepting it as your truth. Start questioning those emotions. Where did you get it from? Who gave it to you? Who did it to you? And who does God say you are? Remember that regardless of what anybody has done to you, it has a lot to say about them and nothing about you. And you have the pen and the power now to rewrite your future. And if you are struggling with a low self-esteem, I want you to know that you are not alone and it is never too late to start your healing journey. Let's keep this conversation going. I would like to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you for watching and I will see you in the next. Bye.